All right, everybody, welcome back to College Finance, the place where finance is made easy. So as most of you guys already know, I did make this channel to support and inform anyone and everyone on certain subjects that aren't explicitly taught in school, specifically revolving finance. If you think that this is something that would be of value to you guys, I would highly appreciate it if you guys would subscribe and like this video. Thank you guys in advance. So today I wanted to start off my playlist focused on credit and why it is important today. Okay, this is going to be probably one of my more important playlists because of the fact that credit can hurt you or it can help you. It really depends on your actions. All right, when I compare this to something like saving or something like refinancing, both of those are good, and you can do something bad. You can not save enough, but you're not losing money, right? You can refinance, but if you're refinancing into a worse circumstance, a worse situation, then you shouldn't have refinanced at all, right? When it comes to credit, you can open a line of credit and you could totally F it all up, mess everything up, and put yourself in a worse position than what you started in, okay? And you might not even know you did it, all right? And that's because of this game that credit has become, and I'm going to talk about that in future videos as well. All right, so first, if anyone doesn't know what credit is, it is essentially the ability to borrow money or access what people call goods or services, with the understanding that you will hopefully maybe pay it back later. Okay, and there are fees, right? Remember that. So establishing what people call good credit means that you'll have proven that you will likely pay back what you owe. Pay attention, I use that word likely, okay? Establishing bad credit, which I will explain how that is done later in a future video, means that you have proven you are unlikely to pay back what you owe. So I use the word likely in both of those definitions, and I did that for a reason. The reason I did that is because your credit score does not perfectly reflect your financial responsibility, okay? When somebody lends you money, there's a good percentage of all the clients that someone would lend money to, and there's a good percentage of those clients that will not pay back the amount of money that they owe. So there are people out there that don't pay off their loans, that don't do anything, and sometimes it's not worth the time of the lender to go and get that money back. So having good credit means that the lender is more likely to lend you money because in the past or historically you have paid your balances off, and that's how you build your credit, and that's why they go, he's good for it. He has paid his balances off, he's taken money that wasn't his, used it, and paid it back within a reasonable time period on time as stated, okay? So you want to have good credit. Just keeping it short. That's what you want. Okay, so I also wanted to cover the different types of credit, right? There are essentially three main credit type categories. So the first one we have here is installment credit, which usually takes the form of loans and involves having an explained payback schedule, right? So this can go for any type of loan. A lot of people, if you are in the target market for these videos in college or just out of college, you likely have student loans. Unfortunately, there is not a lot of student loan aid or federal aid for everyone, so people do take out loans for school. So these loans that you take, usually you agree by the time you finish college or before you even start college and you take the loan out, you agree that you're going to pay a certain amount of money a month at a designated interest rate, and the interest is how the lenders make money. All right, so the second one we have is called revolving credit, and this credit is what most of us know today. It is essentially credit cards, right? And so when you get your credit card and you have your revolving credit line, there is usually a credit limit that is basically based on your credit score or your income, okay? So by having a low credit limit, you are limited to how much credit you can use every month, hence why we got chains on that picture there. All right, and then lastly, there is what people call open credit, which isn't as important as the first two. We see the first two installment credit and revolving credit, we see those two types of credit a lot more often today than we do see open credit. Okay, open credit is essentially for utilities, stuff like that. If I have a gas bill and I use a certain amount of gas this month, that amount of gas I have to pay for. It is not a fixed amount every month. It is variable based on how much I use. For some people, they will not see a utility bill in their credit line. I, for one, don't see it, so I don't think that based on who I use for my utilities, I am not technically gaining credit for paying off those balances, even though I do pay it off with a credit card, which does in turn help my revolving credit line, which helps my credit score. Okay, so I'm hoping this is not getting too confusing for people. There are 3 types of credit, and they all have, explicit definitions which we just covered, and they all can go towards your credit score, which is what we will use to get more credit later, to prove ourselves as being financially responsible, especially if we want to do something crazy like open a new business, which is not as crazy as it sounds. Okay, so unfortunately, I will be cutting the video here. I'm trying to keep them short and crisp for everybody. If you are interested in learning how to build your credit, you don't have credit yet, or you already have credit and it's not doing so good, and you want to figure out how to build it up, what are the metrics that they look at that compensate and create your credit score, please go ahead and stick around. That is going to be the next video. For everybody else, thank you so much for watching. Please leave a like on this video if you found value in it. Subscribe if you are interested in more content, and leave a comment basically containing any criticism on the channel or the video. Let me know what you want to see regarding subjects. Let me know what you want to see regarding, what I just covered. If you want, if you have a question, I'll answer it, anything like that. I am your resource, okay, guys? And lastly, if you are looking for some help one-on-one, I am not a financial advisor, but I am making time for people 30 minutes at a time. If you are interested in chatting with me for 30 minutes, we can talk about any of the subjects I have covered or will cover, and I will gladly give you some unofficial advice to hopefully help you out. All right, guys, thank you, and have a good one.